Well, hello and welcome back to another edition of the Hiking Journal, the Art Smith Trail. In this edition, I take a late fall solo hike into the Santa Rosa and San Jacinto Mountains National Monument above Palm Desert in search of the elusive bighorn sheep. Along the way, I make a scenic but windy drive along the Pines to Palms Highway from the higher elevations of the San Jacintos down into the desert. I also try to locate the car crash site used in the 1960s classic comedy film, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. That'll all be coming up in this edition of the Hiking Journal, the Art Smith Trail. Well, good morning and welcome back to another edition of the Journal. Today, I'm taking a drive out to Desert Hot Springs. I think that's what it's called, out toward Palm Springs, the Palm Desert. And right now I'm heading through Anza, and the reason I'm going out this way, I'm going to end up going right by, Coahuila Mountain is to my left, and Thomas Mountain is in the fog right in front of me in the clouds. 20-30% chance of rain today, and so hopefully I can get out there and get some desert hiking in before the rain comes this afternoon. We got a bit of rain yesterday at my house and a little bit this morning, and but the clouds are pretty spectacular this morning, and the main reason I'm heading out here to this area of the desert is literally just when you get to kind of like Garner Valley, like if I would go left to go to Idlewild, I'm going to go right this time, and I'm going to drop down into the desert. And as I go down this windy road, there's a couple of reasons I wanted to do that. One, there was a trail I've never been to. I've been to a trail next door to this trail, but I've never actually been on this trail. And the trail I'm going on today is called the Art Smith Trail. It's a long trail. It's 17 miles. It's basically just straight out and back. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm only going to go, 3 miles out, maybe 3.5, and then 3.5. I'll do about a 6-7 mile hike today. I really don't think I'm going to do much more than that. I'm a little on a time crunch just because I've got to beat the weather. There's something else. If I have time, I'm going to try to get to it on the way back. We'll see how I do today. On the road down from the top of the mountains down to the bottom, and that's called the Spines to Pines or Palms to Pines. I've seen it different names in different places, but it's a really curvy, windy road, and it's something my wife would definitely not want to be on. But what's interesting about it is it was featured in a movie in I think 1963. Called It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. And it had a bunch of major movie stars in it for the day. And the opening scene, there's a character named Smiler Grogan, and he was trying to evade the police and trying to get away to find a lost treasure. And he went off the road and crashed. And so on the road that we're going to be on the way down there, we're going to go right by the spot where Jimmy Durante, who played the character Smiler Grogan, where he went off the road. And I was told, and I've seen some aerial footage of people that have hiked near there, that the vehicle is actually still there. Don't know if it's the same vehicle, but it's a pretty odd location for a car to be down in this little ravine. So anyway, we're going to be driving right by it. I'm going to get some good viewpoints from an overlook real close to it. And then we'll stop there briefly before we head down to the trailhead and start hiking up the Art Smith Trail. And the one thing that's cool about the Art Smith Trail is this time of year in the winter, bighorn sheep live in that canyon. And the bighorn sheep will come down and feed. And I read just a few days ago that somebody saw a herd of 12, 15 bighorn. And on the adjacent trail, which is actually in kind of the same canyon, is a Dead Indian Canyon, and that one I've been on before. And the Dead Indian Canyon, somebody said they saw, who knows if these posts are accurate, but they said they saw a pack of bobcats, and they said, be careful. And in fact, when I was in Dead Indian Canyon, when I went to the Palm Oasis in the back, I was going through a bunch of, palm fronds in the oasis, and I slipped down in between a couple of rocks and damn near broke my ankle. So somebody else a couple of days ago had a similar accident in a similar location. Their teenage daughter slipped and fell, messed up her ankle. They had to use their cell phone because I guess there was reception in spots, and they had to call for emergency rescue. So, but it sounds like she's doing okay now. But it was kind of scary for him. I don't I don't blame them for being a little nervous about being up in the canyon. But anyway, I'm stuck behind a truck doing about 35 miles an hour as I'm heading up through the mountain pass. I'm going to drop down to the Paradise Cafe. I'm going to make a right and go down the Pines to Palms Highway, past the Smiler Grogan crash site, down to Artsmith Canyon, or Artsmith Trail. So anyway, hopefully we'll see some bighorns today. Anyway, that'll all be coming up in this edition of the Journal. We'll see you in a few minutes, hopefully at the Overlook. Alrighty, take care. All right, well, I pulled over at the scenic viewpoint right before I dropped down into the Palm Desert area, Desert Hot Springs area. And take a look at this road. That's pretty impressive, huh? I mean, look at all the curves in that thing right there. Well, anyway, I'm almost to the trailhead. That's all of Palm Springs and Coachella Valley off that direction. Jacinto is off to the left, way up here in the distance. Joshua Tree is over the far mountains over there. But look at that road. Anyway, so we're getting really close to the Smiler Grogan crash site. And we're also not too far from the trailhead. So we should be at the trailhead here in about 10 minutes. But in fact, actually, you can see the Salton Sea over in this direction. I'll go to another viewpoint and you'll be able to see it a little better. It's pretty cool up here. All right, well, that's the sunrise came up over the Salton Sea, which is way off in the distance. You can see the Salton Sea barely under the cloud layer. All right, well, we are coming up on the Artsmith Trailhead. It looks like there's quite a few. Oh, great. Not only are there a lot of cars, looks like there's a lot of people here as well. So, I don't know if they got some organized event going on today or what. It says hike sign in. So that's not a good sign. Well, it looks like it's going to be a busy day. It said hike sign in. There's about 15, 20 people going that way. And another 15, 20 people going the other way. And they got a reservation table set up here. And we are at the trailhead. Well, good morning. And I finally reached the Artsmith Trailhead. It's a large trailhead parked right off the Pines to Palms Highway. And I had a great view of the desert off in the distance. And there's two organized hikes today. One is going up the canyon to my left, and the other one is going up Dead Indian Canyon, which I've been to before. And so I'm going to be hiking this way for a ways. I'm going to go through kind of a wash, parallels the road for a bit. Then I'm going to be starting up the Artsmith Trailhead. The highway's right behind me. And that'll be a nice day today. It'll be nice and cool. Daytime high is only going to be about 63, I believe. So that ought to be a great spot and a great day to do a hike out here in the desert. Well, I'm officially paralleling the highway here. That Indian Canyon is off to my left. I'm heading down to the Artsmith Trail. I can see the zigzags and the steep switchbacks. This is probably the hardest part of the whole trail. It's this first section. So I imagine once I start up the switchbacks, it'll probably get hot and I'll probably have to take the vest off, but no biggie. And I have hiked the Dead Indian Canyon Trail before, and so I'm not going to be going there today. It closes in about a month. December 31st, New Year's Eve is when it closes for the bighorn mating sheep, bighorn mating season. But I'm not heading that way. I'm heading up that direction, up the Artsmith Trail. Well, I am at the start of the Artsmith Trail. I walked parallel to the highway, maybe, 200 yards or so. And this is the beginning of the switchbacks. It's going to be climbing up this ridge, up and over. And one of the things that I read about the Artsmith Trail that made it so popular are the views. There's some unusual rock formations along the way. But also Art Smith, the man that this trail is named after, he was a legendary horseman from the day in the 30s and 40s, and he built a lot of the trails up here in the desert. and in the foothills of the San Jacinto Mountains, which is now the Santa Rosa Monument. And the best part about the trail here is, even though you're close to civilization, you can see houses and golf courses and sprawling metropolises down below us. The trail winds its way around through the canyon, and within 15 minutes, you don't see the highway, or you don't see the houses anymore, and you don't hear the road noise. So that's what makes this trail special. And of course, also the opportunity to see a bighorn. So cross our fingers, we'll see a bighorn sheep today. Anyway, follow me up the trail as we go up the Art Smith Trail. Now, there was a pretty large group of hikers that headed up the Art Smith Trail, so we'll see if I run into them along the way. I might. I do have to keep my eyes and ears out for the bighorn. They're very hard to spot. So if I see some moving around, maybe one of them will dislodge a rock, it'll roll down and I'll hear it. But their camouflage is tremendous. They're very difficult to see, so I did bring my binocular, it'll help. And when I get to a spot where there's a potential, I'll scan the rocks and the hillsides, maybe we'll get lucky. Well, this is a view of just 50 yards up the Art Smith Trail, overlooking the wash. And this is our view looking down toward the head of Dead Indian Canyon. And way back in there is Dead Indian Canyon. That's not where we're going. We're going over here, up and over and to the right. Whew, I'm already out of breath. All that extra helpings of Thanksgiving turkey and pumpkin pie are taking their toll already. And even though it looked cold, it's really not. It's actually, I don't know, 65 or so. So I'm getting hot already. So when I get to the top up here, I'll take off my vest, stash it for probably the remainder of the hike. We'll see. Maybe we'll see a snake. Well, you can already see my view down below, overlooking the wash and part of the highway. And just in this short distance, I've hiked up quite a bit, and I was sweating pretty good, so I had to stop and take off my vest. But kind of leveling out a little bit. Now I'll start the roller coaster ride along the Art Smith Trail. All right, well, this is our view just as we crested a rise. I just ran into that friendly hiker. She said she saw a couple of big rams further up the trail, about a mile up near the Hopalong Trail crossover. So we'll see. There's houses right down there below. We're going to be heading to the left. Well, here is a little larger barrel cactus. This thing's probably 3 feet tall, I guess. I don't know, that big around. And they get a lot bigger than this. I've seen some off in the distance that were probably overhead high. But still got some amazing views. That's Joshua Tree over in that direction. It's a little bit of a slight breeze. It feels good because I'm still heating up. Hopefully, as I meander through the valley here up the canyon, I'll see me a bighorn. Now, remember I was telling you these get pretty big. This one here, this bad boy is probably, I don't know, 4 feet tall. I'm a little below it, so it's kind of throwing off the size, but yeah, it's definitely getting bigger. There's some more bigger ones even than that over there, and I'm hoping I get pretty close to where the bighorns are today. Oh, climb back up the hill. Well, as I'm working my way up the Art Smith Trail, I passed several groups of ladies hiking up the trail, and they've all said pretty much a similar thing, that they haven't seen any sheep today. But the other thing they said is they weren't really looking because they had their heads down, watching where they're walking. So out here in the desert, there's kind of a fine line between trail safety and the enjoyment of taking in the scenery as you hike, because you want to see the bighorn, but the bighorn are going to be above you. You got to keep your head up. You got to look around, walk a little way, stop, be quiet, and listen. But you also got to watch where you step. There's rocks in the trail, there's dirt in the trail, there's potential for snakes. A lot of things have points or spines. There's cactus, there's agave, there's all kinds of brush that has scratchy branches on them. And you know, you don't want to trip. You're heading downhill, and that's the last thing you need is to do a header, you know, slip on some pea gravel and do a header up here on the rocks. So I get it. And a lot of the folks that are up here are from the Palm Desert area, and they're older, so they have that they have to deal with as well. But I'm going to try to do my best to see if I can spot some bighorn today. If I go to some spots that are at the top of a ridge and I'm quiet, maybe I'll be able to see something off in the distance. I see somebody walking way down there, so that must be the Hopalong Trail. Hopalong Cassidy Trail, they call it. I guess you can do a loop. You can go up the Art Smith Trail, catch the Hopalong Trail, and you can end up down there somewhere. And that must be where that guy's going. But anyway, I want to keep going up this way, top of this ridge. Hopefully I'll see some. I'm getting some mosquitoes too, so I got to keep that in mind. But anyway, I got to keep going. Well, it looks like I've reached the junction of the Art Smith Trail, actually, which heads straight that way. In fact, you can see a couple ahead of me up there. And this is the Hopalong Cassidy Trail, which heads this direction, next to this very large cactus. We're not heading down that direction. Maybe another day we can make a loop hike out of this. We'll see. But this is where the lady said she saw the bighorn, so from here on out, we definitely got to keep our eyes open. Some magnificent rock features around here. And there is another couple working their way down the Art Smith Trail. Well, I decided to stop and take a break here along the trail. It's clouding up quite a bit to the south, but I think I'm still good for a little while. But boy, I'm sure heating up. I mean, there was no air on that side. This side, you know, I get a little bit of a breeze coming down from San Jacinto, so it's not so bad. But I had to take off that green shirt I was wearing under this. It's a Icebreaker Tech Tee. It's a merino wool shirt, but it's really super thin and lightweight. But I was sweating really good. I just soaked completely through it. So it's just sitting out here on a rock right now. So I'm kind of running out of energy already. I don't know how far I've gone. At least probably, I would say at least 3 miles up the trail. And it's a little steeper than I anticipated. It's not bad. I mean, the grade is nice, but I'm just kind of surprised that it's a lot more steep than I imagined. And I can imagine this place gets scorching hot in the summer. This is not a place I'd want to be after probably early May, I wouldn't think. But past another couple, they haven't seen anything today either. So I'm going to hang out here for a few minutes and get caught up on my hydration. I have a salted caramel goo energy gel. I'm going to try this. It is pretty scenic. I mean, the rocks are unique and interesting, and a lot more plant life than you can imagine, but I really got to see a snake or a bighorn. I got to see one of those. I'm not really on too much of a time schedule. I do have to be back before, dark, but other than that, I'm just going to keep going. I think the farther away I get from population, the more likelihood that I'm going to run into a bighorn. But I'm going to need some help. That's what the energy gel's for. Well, the clouds are moving in, especially to the south. And I took a break back there, and a lot longer break than I normally do. It was, I bet I stopped for an hour. Ran into a really great guy named Bruce. He's real familiar with the area. Was telling me about what I expect to see along the Art Smith Trail. Told me some stories of some hikes he's been on, and I shared some of the ones I've been on, and we talked a lot about our Scottish heritage and kilts. So what do you know?
And I told him I'm actually related to the McAllister clan. He said his wife is too. So anyway, I'm gonna keep going. There's a huge barrel cactus over here. I'm gonna go get a shot of that. You gotta see this. Well, what do you think of this bad boy? This thing is about not quite 6 feet tall, but it's close. And it's got a little offshoot down here, little baby growing at its base. We're running into more hikers, 2 more just passed me, working their way up the Art Smith Trail. I'm falling behind, I gotta keep going. I keep stopping. Well, this is what they refer to as the dead oasis. Supposedly, there's another one further up canyon. It's in better shape. Well, this is a desert agave plant, and I believe this is what they used to make tequila. Just saying. Seen several of these. This is one of the smaller sets. Looks like a clump of 5. These get big. Well, this is about as far as I'm going to go today, I think. Got a pooped. I haven't seen any bighorn. And everybody I've talked to said the same thing. No bighorns today. Oh. So I'm going to chill out here, get me something to eat. And I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what I have today. I was intending on making coffee. I don't know. I still might. I don't know. We'll see. These are my additional layers for today. I've got beanie, gloves, wind shell, rain shell in case it rains. I've got these are my camera supplies and a spare cable. This is what I'm looking forward to the most. This is a Modelo Negro ice cold beer. Oh, wouldn't you know it? This is not the kind with a twist off cap. But it's okay. I came prepared today. This Leatherman multi-tool. This is a, I don't know what it is. Skeletal. Actually has beer can opener. I normally don't bring bottled beer because of the weight, but I got these at Winco a couple of days ago, and I really like them. So let's see what I have to eat today. I got one of these chicken salads, so I'm going to have that, I think. Some crackers. Has a little spoon. I don't know, we might do the tea or coffee. I don't know, we'll see. See how I feel. But first off, I'm going to start off with this chicken salad. I'm a little bummed I haven't seen any bighorn. In fact, I haven't seen any wildlife of any kind. I haven't seen a rabbit or a squirrel. I have seen some birds. No snakes. No bighorn. Keep my fingers crossed, I'm only halfway. I think I'm about 3 miles up the canyon. So I had about 3 miles to get back to the car. But like I said, I stopped a lot on the way out here. So I'm going to take about half an hour or so, eat my lunch, enjoy my beer, enjoy the scenery up here in the canyon along the Art Smith Trail near Palm Desert. All right, well, it looks like my coffee is, water is hot enough. It's almost at a rolling boil, so I don't want to overdo it. So I'm going to pour, this is a pour over coffee, so if you're in a hurry, this is an instant. So pour this in, let it sit for a bit. let it steep, and then I'll have me some coffee. And the trangia is still going, so it's going to be going for a while, another couple of minutes probably. I did bring a little bit of creamer to go with it, so that'll be really nice. And believe it or not, it is starting to cool down. The wind's supposed to bring the temperature down. In fact, the coldest temperature of the day was at 3 o'clock. The daytime high was around 11. So it's going to get colder as the afternoon wears on, as the storm rolls in. But I'm ready for it. Got my rain shell. Whatever comes, comes. I'm prepared. As soon as I drink this coffee. All right, well, I've got my Kuju coffee. Got it nice and brewed up, nice and hot. And believe it or not, it's actually cooling down quite a bit. Not the coffee, the air temperature. I have to give this a minute or two to cool down. It was pretty hot. But it's been a pretty good hike. Somewhat uneventful. I really wanted to see a bighorn. I mean, there's still hope for the way out. You never know. I don't think the snakes are going to be out. It's too cold for them. It's mostly downhill on the way out, but it is rolling, so we'll see. Just now starting to work on the Tockwitz Peak Fire Lookout video that I've been talking about forever. It seems like forever. It's just kind of a daunting task because I have probably 10 hikes over the videos. And just so many things happened over the course of the summer. I don't even know where to start. So the good thing is I did get some new audio gear. I got a new microphone for the voiceovers and got a new desk setup. So it's a little cleaner lines for me, a little easier for me, and it's going to be a lot crisper and clearer, the voiceover part. So I'm looking forward to that. And so the next couple episodes ought to be pretty good. At one point, I did hear some rocks. Oh, geez. That's the one thing bad about this stool is it's all dependent on the ground. And if the ground is soft, like there, it just sunk in all of a sudden. So the stool is more set up for a hard rock base. But at least I didn't spill my coffee. And well, at least not too much. Got a little bit on my hand, but at least I didn't spill my beer. That would have been a crying moment. Well, anyway, I'm going to take about another 5-10 minutes here, drink my coffee, back up all my stuff, and then start working my way out. Hopefully on the way back I can find the Smiler Grogan pull out, because I really want to see that. But coming down the grade, there's just no place to pull over. And I get it now when they say there's no safe place to pull over, and there isn't, and you can't park somewhere that is safe and then walk down the road, because that's not any safer either. I should have put my chair is sinking again. I should have put a GPS waypoint. Next time I'm going to have to come out here again just for that, and I'm going to have to actually put a waypoint on a GPS, park somewhere as close as I can safely, and actually make a trip down to that spot. I might not be able to do it today. I might not have time. We'll see. Hopefully on the way back I can shoot some video going up the road, because in the movie clip he was heading up the Spines to Pines, or Palms to Pines highway. He wasn't heading down like I was. He was heading up. So hopefully on the way up I'll see that spot. That's what I'm looking forward to. But in the meantime, I got to enjoy my coffee, back up my stuff, and head back down the trail over off the highway in the Art Smith trailhead. Well, you can see as I'm working my way back toward the car at the Art Smith trailhead, you can see my view down into the canyon below. And way off in the distance at the convergence of those two slopes, just to the right of that is the road coming down from Toro and Santa Rosa Peak that splits the San Jacinto range. And you can see the green down there way in the distance. That's the golf course. So I got a long way to go to get back. In fact, it looks a lot farther than I remembered. I thought I had hiked about 3 miles or so in. I might have hiked a little further than that. I'm not sure. But I have a great overview of this canyon, and I'm hoping to see some bighorn. But you know, nobody today has seen any, except for that one lady. So we'll see. Sure would be nice to see something. Well, I made it down the Art Smith Trail, and it's like somebody lost a key. And it was a pretty good hike, you know. There were some scenic spots for sure, but it's kind of uneventful, to be honest. I mean, I didn't see any bighorn, I didn't see any deer, I didn't see any snakes or rabbits, or to be honest, anything other than people. I saw about 20 people, and nobody that I ran into saw any bighorns today. So that's kind of a bummer, but it's funny. I've seen more scat from the bighorn down here at the trailhead and in this wash than anywhere along the trail. So I think in some of the photos that you've seen online, a lot of it was taken from right here. So I think the sheep come down into the valley here, they feed on the brush and then go up into the rocks. I just heard a rock coming down the hill right there. I don't see anything. But I was looking, I took my time and I looked and I didn't see anything. So, you know, some days you have good days and you see lots of wildlife, and some days you don't. But any day out here on the trail is a good day. So I'm only about probably a half mile from the car. It's nice and flat. Gonna be walking mostly parallel to the road, through the brush. And I should be back to the car in about 15 minutes, I imagine. Where I got some cold refreshments waiting for me. I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, almost there. Okay, is it my imagination, or is there a door carved into the side of that rock? Or is that a rock? Is that a fake rock to kind of hide the equipment? I don't know. All right. Well, never so glad to see the car, huh? What's even better is to see the ice chest sitting here in the car. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that more than anything else right now. So that was my adventure up here to the Art Smith Trail. And looking forward to taking a break. And hopefully on the way back I can find that Smiler Grogan crash site. I really want to see that. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully I'll have some cell signal. Earlier I didn't have Google Maps, so I had that on my map, but I didn't save it for offline use, so I couldn't see it. So while I'm here, maybe I can get some cell signal and I can map that out. Well, anyway, hopefully here pretty soon I'll be able to head back up the mountain, head home, just in time for dinner. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Hiking Journal, my trip to the Art Smith Trail out here in Palm Desert. And I look forward to making some more videos in the upcoming year. And hopefully you do too. Anyway, I hope to see you down the trail. Take care. Bye-bye. Well, that'll do it for the Art Smith Trail portion of this edition. And since the hike's over, well, let's go see if we can find Smiler Grogan's crash site from the 1963 comedy classic, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Here is a clip from Turner Classic Movies about Smiler Grogan and the famous scene from the movie.
Tonight's film is the 1963 epic comedy extravaganza, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, produced and directed by Stanley Kramer, and featuring a host of comedians and comic actors in leading, supporting, and cameo roles. The film begins, unusually for a comedy film, with a high-speed car chase on a highway in the Southern California desert. Smiler Grogan, who has just been released after 15 years in prison for armed robbery, weaves in and out between cars and trucks, attempting to shake the police on his tail. Then on one final fatal curve, his car crashes through a barrier and down into a ravine below.
Hey, did you see it? The way he went sailing right out there?
The
He just went sailing out there.
It was terrible. I mean, just terrible. We must have been doing over 80, you know.
An ambulance. We ought to call an ambulance.
Oh, look at that car.
How could it
He
happen?
must have gone by you doing 90 miles an hour.
I wasn't doing it.
You weren't standing still.
I never saw
Past
such a
us, I'll
crazy
tell
guy
you.
in my life.
Let's get down there. Come on, let's go.
He just sailed out there.
Look out, look out, look out, look out.
There's nobody in the car.
Huh?
There's nobody.
What do you mean there's nobody in the car?
There he is.
Holy smoke.
How about that? This guy's still alive, I tell you.
Is
He's
he
still
hurt?
alive.
Well, maybe we ought to call an ambulance for him right
I don't
away.
know how he survived after all that. The way you went sailing right out there.
Look, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I have some medical experience. I'm a dentist. Do you think you're hurt real bad?
Is he kidding? Now, just hold on, mister. We're going to get you to a hospital. You move me, I'll break up in little pieces. But what a deal. Look, there's this dough, see? There's all this dough. 350 G's. Do you hear what I'm saying? 350 G's. In the park, in Rosita. Rosita Beach State Park. Just out of Dago in Santa Rosita. It's in this box. Buried under this... buried under this big W. You'll see it. You'll see it under this big W. You can't miss it. A big W. And it's been there, and it's been laying there for 15 years.
Now, you might not recognize Jimmy Durante, the legendary actor who played Smiler Grogan, but his voice sure sounds familiar, doesn't it? How's this to refresh your recollection?
Happy birthday!
Frosty the Snowman was a jolly happy soul, with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal.
Frosty the Snowman is a fairy tale, they say. He was made of snow, but the children know how he came to life one day.
There must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found. Oh, when they placed it on his head, he began to dance around.
Frosty the Snowman.
Oh yeah, it's Frosty the Snowman. On that steep drive back up to the Pines to Palms Highway, I carefully drove along the windy road looking for that very spot where he sailed right off the road into the rocks below. It turned out to be just a little bit harder than I thought.
What I'm looking for is the cut in the hillside and the space where Smiler Grogan drove off the road as he was heading up the mountain. That's what I'm looking for. So we'll see if I can find it. It says there's a passing lane ahead, so I'm going to pull over. This could very well be pretty close. And in fact, this might be... No, that might not be it right there. Okay, it looks like it's straight ahead. I think I see it. And it's not the end of the world if I don't see it. I mean, this is another spot right here that looks very similar. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go back and watch the movie again and watch the clip again. And in fact, this actually looks like it more than any of the other ones. And there really isn't a safe spot to pull over, but you know what? I think I might. I can't pull over very far, but I'm going to pull over right here and take a peek. Okay, as you can see along the highway here, this is not a very good spot to be. Cars come ripping up this highway, and in the scene, Smiler Grogan went right off the edge right there. He went right up that ramp, right over where the guardrail is, down to the ravine below. Well, I believe this is the spot. As he was coming up the road right here, he launched right off the edge of this berm and launched right down into this canyon down here. That's where he ended up, on the side of the hill down there, and that's where the car was. In the scene, he was down there in the bottom of the ravine, and the other actors were down there next to him. They were watching Jimmy Durante kick the bucket. Smiler Grogan's crash spot here along the Palms to Pines Highway, overlooking the desert. I know it's windy, you probably can't see it, but down there in the ravine right there's the vehicle. So I think it's the one that's over there. I already passed it.
There's so many of these, it's really hard to pinpoint exactly where it occurred, but that must be it right there because there's the vehicle right there. Well, that'll do it for this edition of the Hiking Journal, the Art Smith Trail and the Smiler Grogan crash site. Jerry, Dave, and I took a 3-day trip out to Joshua Tree National Park, and we had a spectacular hiking adventure up Ryan Mountain. We also found the Lost Horse Mine and took a ghostly stroll through the Hall of Horrors, as well as hikes out to Arch Rock and Heart Rocks along the way. We also spent a few days enjoying the tremendous desert scenery and the mighty chilly nights. I'd also like to thank everyone who hit the like and subscribe buttons over the years that I've been putting this show together, and I'm very proud to say that I finally hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the trail. Bye-bye.